bit more about patience and then... Pardon? Oh, sorry. Yeah, of course.
Buddha, Dharma, מבקש מקלט והערה. באמצעות המצבורים של הקשבה לדרמה, ועושים בודהיות כדי להוביל ליצורים מודעים. בבודה, בדרמה ובקהילה העילאית, מבקש מקלט והערה. באמצעות המצבורים של הקשבה לדרמה, ועושים בודהיות כדי להוביל ליצורים מודעים. בבודה, בדרמה ובקהילה העילאית, מבקש מקלט והערה. באמצעות המצבורים של הקשבה לדרמה, ועושים בודהיות כדי להוביל ליצורים מודעים. ויזכו כל בעלי התודעה באושר ובגורמי האושר. ויפרדו כל בעלי התודעה מסבל ומגורמי הסבל. ולעולם לא יפרדו כל בעלי התודעה באושר ובגורמי. ויפתחו כל בעלי התודעה את מידת ההשתוות ולא מסור בהם של קשרות ושל סדרה.
Okay. So a little bit left to reflect on with patience. Regarding patience. Oh, do we have to wait?
It's alright.
It's okay. Okay. So stopping impatience, we had this one outline. Stopping impatience with those who prevent our praise, fame, or honor. So we've dealt with that. And those who have contempt for us or say offensive and unpleasant things to us. So this part of stopping impatience with those who do three things to us. Have contempt, say offensive things or unpleasant things. So it doesn't really deal with this in great detail because in a way it's already been discussed earlier on, reflecting on the subject, the object, the basis and so forth. But it just very briefly says that actually, where is it here? Actually, the fact that someone does something negative to us, I mean, how bad is that really? I mean, it just lasts for a while and then it's gone. And here, and on this occasion, the argument is that even if something great happens to us, usually it doesn't last really that long. So, good things happen, bad things happen. And they're, like, when we look back, they're just like dreams, right? So it doesn't matter if we have like a long life and at the end of our life we look back, it's all gone. Good stuff, bad stuff. In the end, it's just memories. So to us, situations seem to be much more real than they actually are. It's kind of like after you dreamt and you woke up, good dream, bad dream. It's just a dream. It's just past, it's gone. It's nothing tangible left. So therefore, if we get really upset about someone being offensive or saying something offensive or something unpleasant, if someone treats us without any respect, well, it doesn't matter in the end. It's just, experiences we have. And even if something positive, it doesn't really mention this here, but even positive things. If we always wish for just good experiences, we always want something positive to happen to us, well, it uses some positive karma. So, of course, we accumulate positive karma to have positive experiences, but we try to dedicate it for something greater in the future. So to have experiences, to be able to transform our mind, to become liberated, to become a Buddha. That's what we dedicate virtue towards. And just an experience of something positive lasts for a few moments. So what's the point in holding on to it? The karma is gone and that's it. So it's not even that special if you think of it. And on that, in that context, or in that situation, or with regard to that, Shantideva says, if you enjoy a wonderful, long-lasting dream, what is there when you wake up? If someone dreams of happiness just a short time, what is there when he awakes? There's no dream pleasure left for either. A short life or a long life are both finished at the time of death. I may live a long life enjoying the great wealth I obtained, but like a great thief, death steals it. I leave destitute with empty hands. So basically, though, it talks about wealth here, but it's true for anything. Whatever we experience in this lifetime, it's there, then it's gone, and there's nothing left. And it's just a memory, and we hold on to this memory as if it was something so real. But actually, let it come, let it go. So even if someone doesn't treat us well, there's no reason to get angry. Now, stopping both dislike for perpetrators' attainments and to stop the delight in their trouble. Again, I mean, we just accumulate a lot of non-virtue if we delight in another, if we are unhappy about someone's attainment and delight in their trouble. So, on the other, and one in particular, if we want to become bodhisattvas, if we want to become bodhisattvas, that means already we want others to be happy, right? So, what are we doing? We want to become bodhisattvas. We want to generate bodhicitta. So if we want to generate bodhicitta, we want to generate the wish for all sentient beings to be happy. And then we want some people to be unhappy. That doesn't make sense, right? So therefore, it says here, Shantideva says, desiring the happiness of all beings, I produce the thought of attaining enlightenment. How can I become annoyed if some being attains happiness on his own? Right? Someone attains happiness, someone who we don't like if they're doing well for themselves. Well, actually, if we really want all sentient beings to be happy, if we strive towards bodhicitta, then that's totally contradictory. Pardon?
Being happy.
All being except him, except this one.
But then bodhicitta's gone. One person, if you've taken the bodhisattva vow, for example.
It's a root book,
yeah, it's like if you give up bodhicitta, if you give up the wish to become enlightened for all sentient beings, that's how you lose your bodhisattva vow. So if you go, okay, all sentient beings except him, one person, not enough. Okay. If I desire that all beings become worthy of the honor of the three worlds, how can I be pained by jealousy if I see them gain some limited respect? Someone I don't like and I get upset if they gain respect. Right? It's harder if someone does something that's really negative and then other people respect that person. It's like, come on, how can you respect that person? They're treating me like that. Right? And so again, I thought we were supposed to, I thought we had decided to have bodhicitta. So it's like totally contradictory to that original wish we had. Okay, now the next part that's also important, it doesn't deal with patience with respect to harm, but it deals with patience with regard to accepting suffering. So patience with suffering if we experience problems. Because even though the goal is to eventually overcome suffering and to perceive the suffering, well, first to perceive the suffering nature of our existence and then to overcome it, but while it's there, we should work with it. We should accept it. We should see it as something useful. Because suffering in itself is neither positive or negative. It's what we do with it. Right? It's actually naturally not negative. It's just because we don't like it. We don't want it. So that's why it becomes a suffering in a way. It can become more of a suffering because we feel upset about it. So, therefore, here we should try to voluntarily and courageously bear the difficulties, in particular with regard to practice. Right? I mean, there's no point in just without practicing, just wasting our life away. Well, what's the point in bearing all this? But here it's with the thought that we do this in order to develop our mind, transform our mind, and we may undergo hardships for that, right? Doing retreats, such as this one here, doing retreats. We may choose a time when we do retreat. There are hardships. It's not always easy. It's very interesting. Sometimes I talk to people, and I'm one of them. Like initially I felt, I just want to go to a cave and meditate. As if then all my problems would be solved. There's this kind of idea, like this miraculous, a cave of all places. Come on. We were raised in the 21st century. We got flushing toilets and stuff. We're really not cave people. But there's this romantic idea of like a cave, Has to be a cave. No, I'm kidding. But as if like all our problems would then be gone and we'd be just very happily sitting in our caves and until enlightenment. Such an illusion, right? I mean, that's when we have to really deal with our own mind, and it doesn't matter where we are, whether we're in a cave or in some 5-star apartment. If we sit down to deal with our mind, there's going to be stuff coming up and it's going to be painful. So that expectation that this kind of romantic idea. And I know for myself that was like initially I wanted to just be a meditator and be like in a cave or some very simple hut or something. You know, it's like that's just not realistic, because the cave is the mind we take with us. That's the main point, right? So it's just to leave aside distractions. That's why we try to keep it as simple as possible. But if you're not distracted by anything, then it doesn't matter where you are, basically. Okay? All right. So, therefore, to see a purpose in difficulties that arise, in particular in connection to suffering. All right. So, here this is subdivided. So, developing the patience of accepting suffering can be divided into the reason we must definitely accept suffering, the way to develop acceptance, and a detailed explanation from the viewpoint of the basis. Okay. So the reason we must definitely accept suffering. Well, suffering is caused by karma and afflictions, of course. And there are many external and internal causes that cause all our problems. Now, it's best to face those difficulties with patience, because if they arise, what can we do? If we get upset, we just create further karma. So the best attitude is to just expect them. It's samsara. That's the next thing. I don't know whether you ever catch yourself thinking, I would have thought it would be a little bit better, or people would get along better. You know, like when, especially in the Dharma context, you hear people don't get along, and there's fighting, you know, like, and you have this expectation that everyone should be peaceful. It's samsara. I mean, what do we expect? I mean, seriously, we can't expect that this here is going to be perfect. Whether it's in a Dharma center, in a community, there will always be squabbles. There will always be some disagreements. So to expect that, it's very funny when people come to Dharamsala and they have this idea about nunneries and monasteries. Everyone is peaceful and happy, and everyone is getting along. And then when you look a little closer, it's like anywhere. People fight, people have disagreement, people don't talk to one another. You know, it happened. I mean, I was in an institution where that happened. I once saw a monk with a bleeding nose, you know. It's like, what happened? Well, this guy just hit me over the nose. It happens, right? And you try your best, and people give that. But, you know, it is relatively okay, but there's still, every now and then, it happens. Sometimes in the nunnery that I live in now, you know, there's some disagreement. Samsara, what do you expect? And then people get totally disillusioned and, this Dharma doesn't work because people don't get along. It's like, come on, they're still in samsara. We're not talking about a Buddha pure realm where everyone is enlightened. We're just trying.
I say that the Dharma center, the Buddhists now, we're not Buddhas.
Yeah.
That's what people sometimes in the beginning miss up and think that everybody's a Buddha here. And then you say it's Buddhist.
Yeah,
but
it's
trying. It's very nice in Buddha say if you stay for a long time, that you all the time you practice patience. Yourself and other people practice patience towards you.
Yeah.
It's always opening the heart again. You know, sometimes you make a mistake and then you apologize, then you open your heart again.
Right. So, I mean, other people's mistakes give us the opportunity to practice patience, for example. So to just expect this, I think it's good to just expect it. Like anywhere else, there's going to be trouble. It's best to expect trouble right from the beginning. And then we're kind of, what's the word? Prepared. I mean, we're kind of ready to face whatever there is.
Immune.
And, pardon?
Immune.
We're immune, yes, immune. And also we're able to face it. Like without being disappointed or something, see it as something challenging. Oh, wonderful, good idea, right? So they say in particular, I mean, for example, Jisuma, she wanted to go back into retreat, if you read her biography. And then actually a Christian priest told her, well, why? You know, so much trouble. And she's like, well, there's so much trouble to create like a center or something. And the Christian priest was like, well, that's why you do it. Exactly, because you face it. And she thought about it. That's how I remember it. I may be wrong about it. And she's like, yeah, actually, what? I expect like everything to go smoothly and wonderfully. I should really face this. And that's what she did. And, you know, she's been very skillful and it's been, you know, not being depressed or something where other people may get really overwhelmed by the challenges. Okay. Anyway, so the reasons we must definitely accept suffering. Rejecting the idea that when suffering occurs, it is absolutely unpleasant. And here the quote that could be given is, if there's a remedy, why be unhappy? If there's no remedy, what is the point in being unhappy? So to not choose, oh, this is something terrible, so I have to be terribly unhappy. No, if we can solve the problem, it's counterproductive to worry. If we cannot solve the problem, what's the point to worry? So in the end, worrying is senseless. To just accept it, okay, it's part of life. Alright, it'll pass. It won't always be there. I'm ready to face it. What is it that I can learn from this situation? Right? Usually we can learn something. You just need to ask yourself, what is it I can learn from this situation? It's always something. Okay. And actually, the more patient we are, the more we can bear it. And also, when we understand the benefit of something, the hardships of something, we will do it. We will understand. So, in particular, in connection to the Dharma, if we, in a Dharmic context, we experience suffering, if we try to practice, and we try to practice patience, and everyone attacks us, well, actually, wonderful. Yeah, but it seems, oh, I can't do this. I didn't think it was that difficult. I mean, of course, it's difficult. But actually, there's so many things, so many hardships we undergo when we see there's some benefit in everyday life. Like people that go into a sauna. I mean, come on, like how terrible is it? I mean, how?
No, it's very nice.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, I don't really like it. I like doing it because it makes me feel better afterwards. But I can't say I enjoy the heat. I walk in there, it's like walking into a deli.
When you're doing the hair and you sit in the machine,
The hairdresser.
Those curls.
They sit in this machine.
Yeah. It's terrible, right? Oh, I'm so glad I found. Yeah, right. These machines, like you sit in front of a plane or something, and it's like blowing at you. That's how it feels like. Or when you get out of on the street in Delhi, it's like a sauna. I mean, you don't have to go to. You can come to Delhi and spend great sauna.
Free sauna.
Free sauna, yeah. Anyway, no, the point is like we do things that are actually not terribly comfortable, or like jumping into freezing water, like in Russia, they make these holes and they. Okay, the sauna part, Israelis don't feel shocked by that. That part I can really shock Israelis. The sauna, they're like, oh, it's lovely. Okay, the freezing water is.
Today the truth, when I go to sauna, I practice Tonglen, and I take the heat of hotel being.
That's good, yeah. But actually, the freezing, like if you think of like making a hole in the freezing water, people jump in there, like in Finland and Russia.
Tonglen in hell.
Yeah, it's like a cold hell. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so I mean, then some people go on diets that are very difficult, or eat foods that they actually don't like. It's quite difficult. Or take medication, taking Tibetan medicine. Well, it's not that bad, but it's also not that delicious, actually. Okay, so we do so many things. Farmers, for example, they experience great heat, great cold, depending on where they live. So again, because they see a benefit in it, exercising and so forth, all this may cause some discomfort, but we happily go through it. We don't complain. You see, actually, if we do anything, if we feel like it's beneficial, we bear it well. We're happy to do it. But it's really just our attitude towards it. If it's like, oh, how terrible, you could never do exercises. The moment there's a pain, oh my God, you would stop right away, right?
You need the motivation.
That's it.
Mountain climbing or any.
Yeah, mountain climbing, and here you risk your life for nothing.
Yes.
Seriously, right? I mean, just to climb up a mountain. That's actually, Kitty Rinpoche once said that. The energy people spend on climbing a mountain only to get a golden coin. I remember him. I don't know who gets golden coins when they climb up mountains, but we can kind of take this to other things, like athletes. For a gold thing, for a little medal, and you stand on a little thing like this, take your picture.
It's their whole life.
Yeah, their whole life. So they spend so much time to be part of the Olympics. And no one ever remembers them. It's not like they think, oh my God, I'm so great, I'm so wonderful. Maybe some of them, they're remembered for their entire life. But even if there are, Nadia Comaneci, you mentioned her. Nadia Comaneci, or, these guys. But then when they're older, like no one even knows it's her, and then they die, and she never knows it was her. So she, right? I mean, she doesn't know it was her in her next lifetime. I mean, that she was the one who worked so hard.
Be flexible.
Yeah, maybe. So what?
But to climb the Everest is really absurd.
Yeah,
It's
right.
pure suffering.
Yeah, it's pure suffering. Plus it may kill you.
It's great joy. It's dangerous, but it's pure joy.
But why is it joy? Because you've achieved something. So how joyful is it to train your mind? You achieve something even greater. I mean, I'm just saying.
Even for next life.
Yeah, so the suffering we endure for the sake of climbing a mountain or for the sake of, I don't know, being a gymnast, if we spend all this energy towards, that's real joy. We just don't do it. We don't really know yet that we don't work hard enough. If we really experience the joy, remember we talked about the joy of giving? If someone says, please give, just that, the joy. I mean, how often does that happen? Please give, close the door. Don't want to hear. Right? If someone wants money from us, it's like the opposite reaction in our cases. Okay? Alright, anyway. So, showing that it's appropriate to accept suffering, that actually has a lot of good qualities. We can use it properly. We can use it properly. And of course, to generate patience, compassion, and so forth. So, reflecting therefore on the good qualities of suffering. So here, the first one outline is rejecting the idea that when suffering occurs, it's absolutely unpleasant. That's not true. That's just a construction of our mind. Then showing that it's appropriate to accept suffering, and that is divided into reflecting on the good qualities of suffering, reflecting on the advantages of bearing suffering's hardships, and how it is not difficult to bear suffering if we gradually grow accustomed to it, starting with small suffering, small problems. So, reflecting on the good qualities of suffering. There's like a list of about 5 points, and I'd like to take some time to meditate on this. Suffering urges us to work for liberation or samsara. Why? Because we need to have a clear awareness of suffering, a clear understanding that our existence is in the nature of suffering. Without that understanding, we will not try to overcome it. So to experience suffering is very good for the generation of renunciation, and then thereafter, but yes, so renunciation. So we will not have the desire to be free from it if we don't experience suffering. And then secondly, suffering overcomes conceit and arrogance. So it's very humbling, actually. You know, when we don't experience problems, we may unknowingly, subconsciously grow kind of inflated, like proud, oh, I'm a little better, and so forth. And our vanity makes blow up even small positive attributes out of proportion, whereas suffering deflates that pride and vanity and brings us down to the ground. It's humbling. So again, that's an advantage of suffering. Suffering causes us to be careful not to accumulate negative karma. It's also good. It keeps us on our toes. Oh, whatever suffering I experience right now, if that's the result of negative causes that I produced in the past, well, here I have the opportunity to not recreate them. Again, it's got an advantage. Suffering causes us to develop a strong wish for happiness, such that we do accumulate positive karma, and on top of it, work for liberation and enlightenment. It's kind of similar to what we said before, just from a different angle. And then suffering enables us to infer that others suffer, and as a result of that, we generate compassion. So it's a very powerful means to generating compassion. Okay? So, therefore, it has great benefits to accept suffering. Alright, so maybe just let's take a few minutes to reflect on the advantages of suffering. So, imagine, before we start, imagine the kind of suffering that you experience sometimes and that you totally reject, or that you don't like and you don't want to experience. So you can either think of a situation that arises frequently, or imagine a situation if there's nothing there that comes to mind. But let's take again first a few minutes to calm the mind, or a minute to watch the breathing, and then we can start the meditation. try to think of a situation where you experience problems and difficulties, which usually you do not like to experience. You totally, you have a sense of total dislike of that kind of suffering. And so now try to think of the advantages of facing that type of problem, that type of difficulty. First of all, from the point of view of this problem enabling you to see the suffering nature of our existence. Suffering is helpful because it generates in our continuum the wish to be free from suffering, to attain liberation. Likewise, suffering is good because it's humbling. If we have arrogance or pride, experiencing problems and difficulties helps us to deflate those negative states of mind. Likewise, suffering causes us to be careful not to accumulate negative karma. For example, when a certain type of food makes us sick, even if it is delicious, we try to avoid it. Likewise, it causes us to develop a strong wish for happiness, and therefore a strong wish to accumulate virtuous actions. lastly, it enables us to generate more love